This is David Getoff, board-certified traditional naturopath and board-certified clinical nutritionist. And the purpose of this recording is basically simply to explain the reason that World Nutrition has decided, instead of replacing their original Vitalzym formula with the new Vitalzym soft gel, to instead simply make that a new formulation and continue to offer the original Vitalzym. My 4-minute video, which you can watch on worldnutrition.info, explains the differences between the two formulas and why the new Vitalzym soft gel was developed, and all the ways in which it's much better. Briefly, it has a much better enteric coating. The enteric coating is on the outside of the capsule. It is much stronger, so depending on your own body's biochemistry, the new soft gel is anywhere from, let's say, 50 or 60 up to even 100% stronger. So one of the new Vitalzym soft gels could be equal to as much as 2 of the old ones in many people. But there is a reason for the older product, and that reason has sort of materialized as it was replaced, and it is therefore being brought back. And it's important for people to understand why World Nutrition has done that. The simple answer, which is really all that anybody needs to understand, is there are people out there, or out here, who are so sensitive that when you come up with a better, stronger product, it's not good for everybody. There are problems. I mean, a stronger vacuum cleaner might be able to suck things up that you don't want it to be able to bring in, when the old one was designed to do exactly what you wanted. Well, in this case, what happens is there are a small number of people. I usually only see 1 or 2 people in this category per year, but nonetheless they do exist, where if you start Vitalzym at a dose that is higher than the body desires, what transpires is a healing reaction. In other words, you're simply pushing the body in the proper direction too quickly. And when that happens, we have all sorts of reactions. People get major loose stool. People might get extreme fatigue. And so I've always started people on a capsule of Vitalzym once or twice a day, and then slowly move them up to whatever dose I wanted to hold them on. And when the new product came out, which in many people is almost twice as strong, that meant that when I gave them 1 capsule, I was giving them the equivalent of 1 3/4 or 2 capsules of the old one, and for some people that was too much. And I haven't found that to be much of a problem in my practice, but like I said, it does happen once or twice a year, and since there are thousands and thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands of people out there using this exceptional product, a number of people called in and said, hey, we want the old product back. It worked better for us. So World Nutrition has brought the old product back, and the main reason is because of the actual activity. So, for example, if I have somebody who is so sensitive that although I know they need the benefits and will benefit from the benefits of being on Vitalzym for 6 months, a couple of years, whatever, maybe even the rest of their lives, if I give them one and they have a major reaction, and so they don't take it, and they try it again, they have a major reaction, major fatigue, major diarrhea, maybe a skin condition, because it's doing what it is doing too quickly. Not because we don't want it, just because it's doing it too quickly. Then we have the ability now, with the old Vitalzym, to have a much more variable dose. For example, that 1 or 2 times a year that I got a super sensitive patient into my office, where I had them start on the original Vitalzym, and when I call the original one, these are the capsules where you can separate the capsule and powder comes out, as opposed to the new ones, which are soft gels, and it is not a separatable capsule. So I would have them separate the capsule and maybe put 1/3 of the powder or 1/2 of the powder into a small amount of some non-protein food source, such as maybe a 1/2 tablespoon of applesauce. That way it wouldn't affect the ability of the Vitalzym to do its job, and I wouldn't be using a whole bunch of sugar, which I don't do, because I'm just talking about a very small amount of sugar. And we could use an amount that didn't cause a problem. So if every time they took a capsule of the older style Vitalzym, they would have a reaction, I would say, okay, I want you to stop for a couple days, wait until you feel normal, and now take maybe a 1/2 tablespoon of a good organic, nothing added applesauce. Open the capsule of Vitalzym up, just pull the 2 halves apart, which you cannot do on the new one, and sprinkle approximately 1/4 to 1/3 of that capsule into this small amount of applesauce and take that on an empty stomach a couple times a day. And if that did not cause any problem, and it generally did not, then we would do that for a week or so. And then we would increase it maybe from a quarter of a capsule twice a day to a half a capsule twice a day. And then we might go up to 3/4, whatever speed I decided to do with that patient. But it gave us the opportunity, which the new capsule does not give us, to take those really sensitive people and still allow them to get the tremendous benefits of using Vitalzym. So they've gone back to make that available so that that small number of people that if they take one of the new soft gels ends up being either majorly fatigued or major loose stool, they get a skin reaction because it's helping the body to break down toxic substances and to help clean scars and to eliminate things and to open up the cardiovascular system, but it's doing it too quickly and the body can't handle it. Then we have the ability now to go back to the old capsule where you can separate the capsule and use less than a capsule and slowly bring the person up. Of course, after you've gotten them to the point that they can handle a capsule and a half or 2 capsules, personally, I would then switch them over as soon as they finish that bottle to the new soft gel Vitalzym, and I would do that for 2 reasons. Number 1, the new soft gel Vitalzym has a much better enteric coating on the outside of the capsule than the older one had on the internal powder. So it will simply do a better job of seeing to it that it doesn't release its activity until it gets down into the intestine where we want it to. And the second is because one of the other reasons that they switched over to the new formulation was to remove some of the substances that most manufacturers put in their capsules, such as magnesium stearate, because it makes it easier to make the capsules and it lubricates the machines, but which we know are not part of what's actually used, and so it would be nice not to have them there and to only have the actual substances that we need. And they were able to do that with the fantastically better product of the new Vitalzym soft gel, but they couldn't do it with the powder in the capsule. So as soon as somebody would be brought up to the dose that they can now take advantage of the new one, even though it's stronger, I would still switch somebody over to the new capsule. I hope this explanation has been helpful and that everybody listening now understands why, even though it's for a very small number of people, there are some people for whom, at least at the beginning, the older style separatable capsules do have a use, even though the new capsule is better in many ways. Thank you for listening. Education is important.